The Ajna Chakra is deeply associated with your endocrine glands, which is the pituitary gland. In those who are in the reproductive age, both men and women, the pituitary glands are the other glands where your reproductive, your especially for women, the menstrual cycle starts from there. We think it has to do with the uterus, but the trigger is always from here, from the pituitary. Okay, so when there is the gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH it is called, when that is released, the pituitary in turn releases two hormones. One is called the LH or luteinizing hormone, and the other is called the FSH or the follicle stimulating hormone. Now, this LH or the luteinizing hormone is released both for men and women when the Ajna chakra or the pituitary gland is triggered. And LH will result in the formation of the hormone which we call testosterone. Now, testosterone is known as a male hormone. So in men, it's very good for their health, and men require testosterone. In women, testosterone peaks just before the ovulation and for a very small quantity. Definitely not as much as it is for the men. For a much smaller quantity, we have short peaks of testosterone. In women, it helps in muscle strengthening, it helps in sexual libido, and we need testosterone, but in very small quantities. In fact, it is this testosterone which your ovaries and adrenal glands will eventually convert into estrogen, which is your female hormone. Okay, so testosterone is needed for the female body, but in very small quantities. Now, in a healthy woman whose ovaries are working normally, when LH is converted into results in testosterone, your ovaries will start to process that testosterone to form estrogen. And when your estrogen will reach its peak at the time of ovulation, okay, and after that, there's supposed to be a signal, a feedback loop that goes back to your pituitary saying, hey, now it's enough. Now you need to stop. And then the estrogen levels start to dip, and another hormone called progesterone starts to rise. So there is a communication between your pituitary and the ovary which has to be maintained for your menstrual cycle to occur normally. In the language of modern medicine, this whole thing is called as the hypothalamus pituitary ovarian axis. In short, the HPO axis. You can search for the HPO axis if you want to learn more. So, any disruption in the HPO axis, either the pituitary is not triggered or it is triggered, but your ovary is not able to send the feedback, any sort of a disruption in this will disrupt your menstrual and reproductive health. Now think of a temple, a mokshadham, or a mantra which is meant for moksha, which works largely on the Ajna chakra and continuously activating your pituitary gland. And at that same rate of activation, your Swadhisthana is not being energized. So it is falling behind. So here your pituitary is causing testosterone to enter your bloodstream, but your ovaries are not able to convert all of it at that same rate. One of the conditions that happens is PCOS. And one of the symptoms with PCOS that we see is excess testosterone in the female body because the ovaries are not able to function at the same pace to transform that into estrogen, or the ovaries have become dysfunctional. And the other symptoms are masculine features. So the voice becomes more masculine. There is more facial hair among such women. Their personality becomes more driven by testosterone. That is, they become more aggressive in nature. I don't like to point this out, but if you observe one of the women who led the agitation for Sabrimala entry and fought and made that entry, just observe her personality. All of this I'm telling you will be there in her. That aggression and all of that is a result of the testosterone being so high, and unfortunately her body is not able to handle it. Now it's very easy to blame women, to scold them, you know, but we need to realize that this knowledge is not being made available to women. Our daughters, our sisters, even our mothers and our grandmothers know this through experience. But unless we are able to explain this, obviously questions will be asked. Are we to blame the women who are asking the questions, or are we all collectively responsible for not learning these sciences and not teaching our next generation these sciences? The restrictions pertaining to women on in Shabrimala and other mokshadhams are simply this, that it will massively disrupt their menstrual and reproductive health.